y'all remember hunting with Dad and all the hard work he used to put in to getting us out in the woods? And now we're doing it for our kids.
Now we're going back to do it for Dad.
Full circle in the outdoors.
Are ours going to do it for their dads?
Yeah. I hope so.
We'll see.
It's the whole thing about, we're talking about taking that generation that came before us on a hunt now. And it's a little different because you always talk about take a kid fishing, take your kids fishing, hunting, this and that. But, Grandpa still wants to hunt. Grandpa still wants to fish.
You're watching the Cast and Blast podcast. Real fishing, real hunting, real talk. Today's episode is brought to you by J2 Deer and Hog Attracting.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Cast and Blast podcast. Where today,
hold on, we were gonna record a cold open.
Oh shit! Yeah, we were.
What's the
cold open?
There's our cold open. Hey, well, cold
Cheers.
open.
As I was saying, welcome to another episode of the Cast and Blast podcast. Today, we're gonna talk about kind of the circle. Not the circle of life, but the circle
of life.
The circle of life. So, how many of you out there were taught to hunt and fish by Dad? I know I was. Was you guys?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Me too, man. I grew up, Dad teaching me not only to hunt and fish, but just how to do boy things, how to do man things. Go fix the truck. Go fix the fence.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Take care of the animals.
Working on the truck under a hood, holding the flashlight.
Flashlight!
Bro, the first time you have to, one of the most memorable experiences of your life is going to be the first time you hold the flashlight for Dad.
Yeah. Holding that light, and you're like, looking.
Dad, what's this? What's
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
What's this?
And then
While
your
he's
dad,
over
your
here.
dad grabs that light and goes right there.
Yeah. Don't move.
But you're so scared it looks like a strobe light.
Yeah. Yeah,
Stop
you're like
moving.
shaking like a cat trying to shit a peach seed.
How about Dad telling you, "Hey, hand me that hammer," right? And you'd grab him a ball peen or something. And you'd be like, "This one?" He's like, "No, the motherfucking wrench next to it. Yeah, that goddamn hammer."
You didn't come for me. You're too goddamn dumb to be my kid.
Yeah,
Buford,
no.
Oh, Buford T. Justice.
So-
Ain't no way, boy. You come from my loin.
So I had a brother, man, and my brother could not work cars with my dad because my dad was like, hand me that, hand me a 5/8. And I hand him a 5/8, and he'd tell my brother, like, hand me a, 13/16 or whatever. He'd be in there reaching around. He's like, that's a goddamn crescent wrench. Hand me this. And he's like, get the fuck out of here.
Or
It's
the
like,
worst one ever when Dad's like, hand me that 10 millimeter.
where's the 10 millimeter?
Yeah.
Good luck to
Where
find
is
it.
the 10 millimeter?
It's like
That's
like
that ghost ranch.
yeah, it's like you told it's not real. It's
Yeah.
fake.
It's not real.
Well, before we get too deep, man, I don't want to, leave our producer in the dark back there like he's a cuck in this video, Hey, so why don't you say what's up to everybody and let them know if you had an experience with Pops, bro?
Dude, I'm worried about all these beers on the table and why some are taller, some are short. And Ben has something to say about that because I asked him offline. Ben, what you think about that?
Well, Ace, there's a perfectly good explanation
There
for this. The tall ones are for us big boys. You're behind the wheels, and you have to drink from the short ones.
But Dad, going back to the question about Dad, I too have had the experience of holding a flashlight.
I could imagine it
Yeah.
sounded just a little different.
No, God, one time.
Oh,
Dude,
hell yeah.
it
Translation.
doesn't fail.
Translation of that is the flashlight.
The
Hold
flashlight.
Don't move.
But
Yeah.
man, we all can relate to that because now we're at an age where we're not only taking kids, but it's like it has evolved. Now it's gone to go full circle. We're taking
Yeah.
Dad out,
Yeah.
or
So-
maybe somebody older. How many of you guys can relate to? You remember when Dad used to prep the hunt or the fishing trip?
But see, that's the thing. As kids, we also never really paid too much attention to that. Other than I got my stuff, we're good. Dad took care of everything. Now that we are dads, or we're taking, my father-in-law or my dad or taking somebody else out hunting, we're doing all the work, and then it's just like, hey, I'm here getting a truck. It's already
Man,
done.
I'm glad you said that because I'm the only one at this table that my dad's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And check this out, man. When my dad was around, I thought he was going to be around forever, and I never really paid attention to anything. It was just fishing with Dad, hunting with
Yeah.
Dad,
The things we took.
Sitting around the barbecue pit with Dad. Never paid attention how he lit the pit, you know. And and as much as I would like to say he was sitting there trying to show me, but I never took. I guess I took it for granted he was gonna be around forever. And after he passed, I had to have like cousins and shit show me, hey, this is how your dad showed me how he started a pit. This is how he tied this. And I was like, I had to play catch up, but I wish he was around to show me that. But there was a lot of things he did show me that stuck with me, obviously. My dad and I, we worked on cars together, man. He was an automotive guy. And to this day, man, like, you know, touching wrenches, you know, is a different experience for me. You know, I feel like it means something, you know, and fishing and hunting is that for me, man. So like I'm connected to my dad in the woods and on the water, man. Absolutely. It's no secret. I've said it several times. That's where my connection is.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is we all four grew up in 4 different places around 4 different cultures and subcultures.
Sure. Yeah.
But the similarities of the way we all 4 grew up are so alike that it's crazy. And growing up, like Dad knew everything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Dad knew everything. Dad taught me how to tie my first fishing knot. Dad showed me how to clean my gun. Dad taught me how to fix fences. Dad taught me how to fix the lawnmower, my 4-wheeler, my little Volkswagen Beetle ball car, you know, whatever it was. And like Ben said, you just take that for granted. You're like, damn, Dad's going to be around forever to, you know, he'll take care of this stuff for me.
Right.
And now our kids, though, not only, I think, you know, we're kind of stuck in the middle of where our kids are old enough to start planning some trips and saying, Dad, we want to do this. Dad, we got this planned out. All right, well, let's go. And then we can backfill some of those holes that they left in their planning.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're taking Pops out.
Yeah.
If we're taking Pops out or, you know, somebody else that you know, maybe don't have the energy or the resources. There's a lot of planning in a hunting trip or a fishing trip.
Everybody grows. So, everybody's goal is to get to a certain age where all you do is sit on a recliner and drink a beer.
Yep.
And maybe enjoy a bourbon and a cigar. You know, you just like, I've worked my whole life to do this right here.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for that call from, you know, your son or your grandson
Hey,
or somebody. Hey, let's roll. I got a hunting trip. Let's go. Pack up. And what I mean by pack up is like, Dad, take your freaking slide. What are them slippers?
Chanclas,
yeah. and throw on some boots. You know, we're going hunting, or hey, we're going fishing this weekend. You know, and we're gonna talk a little bit about how we prepare and get things ready. Because listen, Jimmy just hit the nail on the head, man. That's the one thing we all have in common, and you guys have that in common with us. And
that's what can bring the outdoor that's what bring the similarities there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, you talked about different walks of life, different cultures, this and that. One thing is common is we all get out and fish and hunt. I don't care what background you are. I don't care what language you're speaking.
It don't matter.
You're getting out there and enjoying it. So we're going to share a little bit of like, you know, some of the things that we have absorbed along the way from our pops. And then we're going to talk about like some of the things we're doing differently now that we're at a certain age, getting older people out to hunt with us and stuff, man. You know, we came upon this topic, you know, talking to your father-in-law.
Yeah.
A man that I, you know very well. And, you know, he came up to me and talked to me about, hey, you should talk about this. And, man, that really resonated with me because it is an experience I can no longer, you know, I guess, enjoy, you know.
You can take me hunting.
I
You don't have enough gray.
It's the whole thing about, you know, we're talking about taking that generation that came before us on a hunt now. And it's a little different because you always talk about take a kid fishing, you know, take your kids fishing, hunting, this and that. But, you know, Grandpa still wants to hunt. Grandpa still wants to fish.
There's a huge hurdle for some of the, I don't know about everywhere, but I know in the rural areas where my dad lives, a lot of old timers, I say old timers, but you know,
say what it is.
A lot of old timers have a hard time being able to get out and hunt and fish anymore if they don't have their own property because the neighbor's property or
no
a farmer
longer-
it's
yeah.
somebody
Yep,
else's property. That
Good
farm
point.
pond they used to fish, that field they used to hunt, it's somebody else's now.
I got
Yeah.
to
And
go
they
out
don't-
to Oklahoma, and you showed me all the properties around that you grew up hunting and
Yeah.
stuff, and now it's somebody
I
else's
have
property.
no, yeah, I have
Right.
no, which is fine. That's cool.
Sure.
But Pops isn't going to be out knocking on doors anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
man.
there you
Right.
go.
So it's a good time to, for us to be like, all right, Dad, I got
And
this.
if he
for you."
does, hopefully he's wearing pants.
We hope so, or directing traffic with his pistolero.
That would be my pop. That would be my pop. Right?
No,
But I mean, this is the reality. And guys, let us know in the comments if you kind of relate to this. Like,
Yeah.
you grew up hunting or fishing a certain
Things
spot.
are different now.
Things are different now.
yeah, things are 100%
What can we do
different.
differently now to make sure they get to go and enjoy that with us still, right?
Well,
So I'm going to share a quick story. My dad, I've been having to help him get his fishing license. They made it a hard time. My dad lives
That's
way
a
out in the
good point.
country. He's old enough to get his senior lifetime fishing license, but they wouldn't let him go in the store and do it. They said you have to either go to the city, which is 4 hours away from him, or you have to do it online. He doesn't have internet. He doesn't have a computer. And you've been to his house. You don't get enough service out there to be able to do it on the internet. So I have to do it for him from my phone for him.
Yeah,
So they make it hard for some of the
And
the
I bet your
older
dad
people.
did that for you when you were growing up.
Exactly.
getting you- and you do it for your son,
oh, yeah,
making
my
sure
dad-
he's
my dad would
legal.
show up
Exactly,
with
that's-
my license.
That's a great example there. Let us know if you guys have an experience with that is similar to that.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about some of the things that are unique about taking pops out, man.
So, my dad, of course, my father, he lives up in Columbus, right? So, if I had more time, if he
Joe,
was closer,
there's a lot of things you have, and time isn't one of them.
No, we know
Yeah.
that, but I make time. I do make time. If my dad was here, I wouldn't have any time at all because he'd be like, "We're going here, we're hunting here, we're doing this, we're doing that." That's my dad's. He'll beat feet. But with my dad not being here, I hunt with Bill, with my father-in-law.
Right.
So I put Bill on his first whitetail ever. I put him on a black buck antelope. I've done a whole bunch of stuff with him, taking him out. But Bill's, he's a disabled veteran. He's older fella. He's got hip backs problems, stuff like that. So I have took it upon, myself to just be like, "Hey, sit, just leave me alone. Let me get everything ready for you." Dude, it's to the point now to where I'll pull up to the house and just be like, "Hey, I'll be there in an hour." His crossbow, because he can't pull a bow back anymore. His crossbow's already sighted in. Excuse me. There's, camera's been checked, feed on the ground, because I feed heavy for him, and everything's already set up. I will drive him to the stand. He ain't got to walk but 5 feet.
Curbside service.
But you do that because, that man has worked his whole life. He did 23 years in the military. He's got out, immediately went to work. He's done nothing but provide for his kids. So my wife and sister-in-laws, his whole life, So that's my way of kind of giving back. If my dad was here, because I've took my dad on several hunts. He's come down to Texas. Hey, let's go shoot a pig. Let's go poach a ram.
Right.
Yeah. Another story. Go back to episode such and such and watch that one, right? But I've took him on several hunts. My dad was with me and Colt when Colt killed his first deer.
3 generations.
Three
one hunt.
generations of Colliers sitting in the stand, and Colt killed his first deer. And I'll never forget, Colt was like, at that age, so he was probably 7 or 8. He's 8, but he was like bored in the stand. So he's like piddle farting with his boots, and here comes a couple does, and I watched my father reach over and grab him by the head and go,
Yeah.
"Look!"
Yeah.
It was like the
So-
Jurassic
Yeah,
Park
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
That's what's so cool is that father instinct
Oh,
never
yeah.
leaves.
Yeah, and being able to sit with him and my son and watch my son shoot his first deer with 3 generations of Colliers, that right there just made, that made my whole life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
As a whole. He was with me when Jerry shot his first deer, He comes to Texas when he can, but, where he lives at, he doesn't get to hunt near as much as what he would, I guarantee you, if I was there.
Well, a lot of that has to do with the land access too. You know, Jimmy kind of nailed that and said, you know, it's different now, man. How many of you guys are having trouble finding a place that's conducive to taking your pops or granddad or somebody that's older? Maybe they are disabled. Maybe they have an impairment that they can't walk up to a blind and you can, you know, this and that. Maybe you can't even get them in a blind.
Dude, I used to watch my dad hang lock-on stands growing up, and it was like watching fucking Tarzan.
Dude,
But now I got to pop up or a big box stand or stuff like that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But growing up hunting with my dad the way we hunted, you know, I look at him now, nothing against you, old man, right? You're still old, ugly, and you dress funny. I love you. But, you know, I watch the way he hunts now, and I'm like, dude, if I was there, we'd be hunting completely different, right? Everything would be took care of. Everything would be done. You know what I mean? And, you know, he's like, he went and bought a four-wheeler because he can't, you know, he just can't drag deer no more. Not that he can't, but he can't drag deer no more. My dad called me from work one night.
Sure would have been nice for you to have that four-wheeler when you were a kid dragging that deer for dad,
that's
wouldn't
what
it?
I was about to say.
He called me. I was working at an Orscheln farm and home. It's like a Tractor Supply. And I got a phone call over to intercom. And, oh my goodness, Joey Oach's wife. I can't remember her name.
Don't say her name.
Anyway, so she calls me over the intercom. She's like, Joe,
I'm not gonna call you a liar, but we don't need to put their names out there.
So I picked Devin. So I pick up the phone, and it's my dad. He called Orscheln and was like, hey, dude, I just shot an absolute giant. I need help getting it out. So Devin's like, go, bye. So I left work, went to go drag a deer out for him, right? And it was about 225 pounds of in a creek bed, about like such.
And he didn't have that four-wheeler, did he?
Hell no.
He had you, the mule.
Yeah, right? So now, you know, he's still hunting up there, doing what he can when he can. And he's like, yeah, I had to go get a four-wheeler. He'll call me out of breath. I just tried to put this doe on him. And I'm like, dude, that sucks.
Dude, that same thing, man. Like Dad, you know, growing up, he had some equipment, me and my brother.
Yeah,
we were the
exactly.
equipment. Now Dad's got the tractor, he's got the zero turn, he's got a log splitter, he's got all. But I get it, man. When you're a one-man show, man, things get rough.
But see, now I have two sons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where he only had me and a couple of my buddies. And if I called him and was like, hey, we got to go get deer for Dad, they'd be like, see, the way my wallet works.
Yeah.
Is, you know,
or I'll take a back strap.
Yeah. So now I have two sons. So I do to them kind of what my dad did to me.
It's tough love, but it actually teaches you, you know, it's a kind of a rite of passage.
Drag your deer.
That's
Go
right.
get that dove bird.
Yeah.
What's the one thing Dad taught you in the woods or on the water that has just stuck with you? Like it's just never going anywhere.
He's gonna hate this one, but
Go ahead.
Okay. My dad was a super, super patient man.
Yeah.
And he taught me how to be patient in the woods and on the water. I was one of those kids that used to cast out, reel in, cast out, reel in. Mind you, I'm saltwater fishing. That's stupid.
Yeah.
You're dunking freaking live bait out there, let it sit there and do its thing and wait for a fish to essentially catch itself.
Yeah.
You know, hook setting out there wasn't like how we hook set in freshwater, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So you're just sitting there watching that reel bend, then you sit there tip to tip up and bring
now
it
that
in.
I've officially saltwater fished, I
Yeah.
can tell you, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking
now.
about now. So for me, growing up, I was that guy. I'd be like, fish, come back, and then he'd be like, damn, you're wasting bait because you're dragging freaking live shrimp and all that stuff.
Blue
And
crab,
it's getting
fiddlers.
falling off, and he'd get pissed off. So he's like, God damn it, leave the goddamn thing in the water, you know? So I'd leave it out there, and then sure enough, boom,
Bam.
all right, here we go. But I had to learn the hard way how to be patient, and I never paid attention then when I was young. You know, I'm a freaking kid. I'm hyper. I want to
We're
go
high strung.
Yeah. So then my dad was just like, hey, chill out, and he was the man that when he spoke with that thunderous voice and shit, like it was like, hey. It was so weird, man, because he was a comedian, dude. Like, this dude was cracking jokes. He was the life of the party.
Yeah.
But when he would talk, you'd listen.
Yeah.
And when he told me to be patient in the woods, and I literally, I think we talked about this one time out. in a blind one time. I like observed him, man. You know, I was just like, when he told me something, I put my eyes on his, and I noticed how my dad would sit still and he wouldn't move his head and he'd just look with his eyes. And I tried to do that as a kid, you know? You know, as a kid, you think your dad is like Rambo
Dude,
or
yeah,
stealth
yeah,
or some
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like super
Delta
freaking
Force.
Delta Force or something like
What
that.
do you
So-
mean as a kid? I still
yeah,
do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
It's
so I
because
was,
he is.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was trying to like emulate dad, you know, and those were the things that I picked up. And I think that's kind of like where Jimmy and I differ in our today hunter style is like I can be more patient and sit there where Jimmy's kind of like, I gotta go. I
That's
gotta make a
bridge.
move.
That's bridge.
Like, and we're teaching. It's crazy because we're teaching each other different styles.
Yep.
Like I've been able to get out and go and what's it called, like run and gun, and be successful. I've kind of sit here and talked him into against his will of like, hey
Sit.
man, I think we ought to just sit this
Yeah,
one out. And
yeah.
he's kind of sitting there, kind of like losing his mind. But then something will, you know, present
Yeah,
itself,
yeah.
and then we have a successful hunt.
I can tell you exactly the thoughts that are going through Jimmy's head. Pinche Ben.
Mm.
Yeah.
Pinche Ben.
Bro, I mean,
No,
it's those little things, right?
You
And
have
is
to
it-
be open to learn from any other. You have to be, but that's funny.
But
you
we're
s-
not doing anything that we self-taught. This is something somebody taught us, and
Yeah.
Dad taught you your style, taught me my style.
No, but that's the crazy thing is you said Jimmy's not gonna like this because my
Yeah.
dad taught me patience.
Yeah.
That's what my dad taught me too. Just didn't work.
Yeah,
But-
Jimmy's definitely. I could totally tell Pawpaw Jim.
Yeah.
I could totally tell Pawpaw Jim was definitely this way, and Jimmy's against the grain. But dude, I mean, everything about you is like
He
that. Like,
speed bug Jimmy
Yeah,
for
bro.
a
Well,
reason.
yeah,
So
bro.
I do have a question on that note. Since you said that your dad tried to teach you patience and it didn't work, are you trying to teach that now forward to your kids, the patience part?
Good question. Ace.
So that is a good question, and I think it all comes down to personality. My son's personality,
he's like me. He's very reserved.
Yeah.
Very
he's a lot more like my dad.
like
I'm a
me.
li-
He's super handsome. He's
Yeah.
yeah.
He's got way more hair than you.
Yeah, he's like me. He's got, all these women crawling out, like, I mean, and we're not going to get into it, but the guy's like,
But I guess the over the ridge thing. So dad tried to, he was teaching me patience, but he also taught me like you have to be out there. And if I got to be out there, I don't want to be in the same spot the whole time. I want to see what all is out there so that I know exactly where I want to go any other time that I'm out there.
But Jimmy, that's why we scout before season.
but his scouting never ends, dude.
Scouting
I know.
never ends. Scouting doesn't end.
For you. Not everybody's like that. And we can attest to this. We grew up two different, we call it sides of the planet, because how you grew up hunting and where you grew up hunting and where I grew up hunting and how I grew up hunting, you can't do one. There's only one way to do it where I'm at. And there's only one way to do it. Well,
Yeah.
there's multiple ways to do it where you're at. But down where I come from, like, you ain't getting through that sagebrush and mesquite and that cat claw and all that stuff to go out there. Like, we cleared these senderos for a reason.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
sitting right here and waiting for something to come out. So for me, having to learn that with you has been something different, but I can see how, they both have a purpose. They can both be successful, but what is your virtue that you want to die on that hill with,
Yeah.
And I like the excitement of getting out and moving, and I almost hear like theme music in my head the whole time because you're really on a chase, and you're
Yeah.
just like, dude, and
it's-
it's a pump. Like, you're like, we gotta go. I hear a bird. Let's move.
Yeah.
And,
That's
it's
the excitement. You just said it. The
Yeah.
excitement of not. I don't. Sometimes I
the
feel
thrill,
like
the thrill of the chase.
the thrill of the exactly that right there. If you sit there in one spot for an animal to come to you, it's cool. But if you find that animal and you see that animal at distance and you close that distance and harvest that animal, there's not a better feeling in the world.
You guys let us know. You're watching these hunting videos on YouTube and you see all these hunting channels. Which one's more exciting to you? The video with the theme music, boom, 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 boom. They're going on they're on the chase, or that guy sitting in the blind and that theme music comes on and all you just see is this deer just come up out of that grass, soft, that soft hard line. or
Walking to
soft
the
line,
feeder.
and he's walking through the theater and the music comes. The music's even different in those videos because
Yeah.
the heart's pumping different and all those things. I'm not going to say you can't get just as excited. And trust me, I am guilty of that. My heart is going 100 miles an hour when that buck comes out and I'm sitting in a hard stand than when I'm moving on an
But
animal.
see, and the way I grew up hunting, right? We couldn't feed like Oklahoma and Texas.
Right.
Well, back in the day, you couldn't feed there. We had box blinds, but you couldn't feed then.
Yeah, we couldn't, like, you can't feed at all. Not saying we didn't, but you know, we did we did things differently. There's another episode on that. But I grew up, looking for scrape lines, looking for rub lines, finding natural funnels. We hunted growing up. We were the apex
So
predator.
growing up, I didn't know all that. That's what I was learning.
See,
I didn't
learned-
even know.
I learned a lot of that from my dad and my
Well, I did-
uncles.
Yeah,
I was
growing
getting
up.
taught. I
So-
was getting
Yeah.
introduced to it. I didn't pay attention to shit.
I was being told what it was, but
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly how to put everything into.
But dude,
and sometimes I still don't. That's the thing is like,
Yeah, but see, like my favorite thing in the whole wide world is squirrel hunting. I've said it one time. I'll say it 5,000 more times.
Yeah.
squirrel hunting is like the perch jerking of the hunting world.
Yes,
Yeah.
but better. But me and my dad, like if I could do that right there every day for the rest of my life, I would squirrel hunt with my dad every day for the rest of my life.
So next weekend, me and my son's going up to see my dad, and we're going fishing, and we're not doing something extravagant. We're just going pond hopping. We're just going around all the farm ponds that we.
Is Tyne taking anything other than a glide bait?
Yeah. Yeah, that glide bait thing isn't going too well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a challenge, man. I mean,
Well, it's been too hot. We've only been out 3 times with the glide bait. He's caught fish on it, but nothing big enough. It's just too hot, man.
yeah, well, where you're fishing and the fishes just ain't sitting on them beds
Right,
and everything right
yeah.
now.
But
Dude, I was gonna get to, you were talking about how your dad was teaching you. That's another shit I haven't even shared. My dad was such a clown, dude. He would pick up like deer shit, and pick it up and kind of
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
so
and
did
be
mine.
like, they're going that
Yeah,
way.
smart. Yeah.
So I was being misled the whole time. Not only was I was like, he was trying to teach me shit, but like that dude was such a
Yeah.
clown. He was full
Yeah.
of shit the whole
My
time,
dad-
you know?
my
I'm
dad
not
used to-
tasting that.
Yeah, he'd
My
be
dad
like, he
used
would
to do
pick
the
up stuff and
same
he'd be like,
shit.
that buck just went this way. And
Yeah.
I'd be like,
My dad
now
would do
knowing
that.
back on what he was looking, that was old scat,
like-
like old
Yeah.
rubs and old, scrapes.
My dad
and
would do
shit.
the same shit. He'd like put his ear to the ground,
Yeah.
be like, "Deer come." I'd be like, "How do you know? Ear sticky." Stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
Where was that in the dad jokes? Where was that?
no, my dad was a clown too, and we talked about what.
That's good.
What-
That's good. That's good.
What did you learn? So I learned 2 things.
Whole new meaning wet behind the ears. Oh,
Hopefully it's not green behind the ears.
Yeah. So my dad taught me patience because for the longest time growing up, I would get out of the stand or try to get out of the stand about 20 minutes before 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So that golden hour, I was like kind of scared of the dark, right? And now my son, he'll be like, well, it's getting to be about that time. I'll be like, nah. I said, we ain't getting out of here until I can't see you. And
I'm
you're
the
sitting
world's
next to
worst
me.
at that. Oh my God.
But
I am the worst.
The other thing my dad taught me growing up, and I've stuck with this my whole life, as much as everybody preaches scent control,
Yeah.
I have watched my dad shoot deer at 10 yards with his bow with a Marlboro
Marlboro
Red
Red.
out
Yep.
of his
Mhm.
fucking mouth.
Yep.
And let me tell you, I don't care who you are.
Dude.
I smoked in the stand.
Yeah, we have to do a whole episode about scent control and scent.
Dude, listen, but that's one thing he told me was, son, yeah, scent control's important to an extent. I'm gonna sit in my stand and smoke cigarette. Like, fuck that. That deer's gonna come right to me.
Yeah.
I've had deer lick back in the day when skull apple was the shit.
Yeah.
I used to spit my skull apple. I've had does come up and like start licking the spit. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's odd, but scent control is one thing he taught
What
me.
what did
Dude,
Dad teach y'all about?
We probably all wore Marlboro jackets and hats.
Oh, yeah,
and
the
all
Marlboro-
the
the Marlboro
points,
Miles?
the
The
Marlboro
Marlboro
Miles,
Miles?
the Marlboro Miles.
Yeah.
The Marlboros.
I
and
still
then-
have I have it hanging in my closet. I swear, a red Marlboro Miles jacket, like rain.
Dude, I
like,
swear,
I have a
I mean,
Cincinnati Bengals starter jacket that
Dude.
still smells like Marlboros. But
that's crazy.
Or did you guys ever? Did Dad have the subscription to Bassmasters and Buckmasters so he'd get like a free tea?
I was
So-
too poor for that.
Yeah.
bro.
So my dad,
we could afford freaking marbles. I guarantee
Yeah.
you that.
Well,
But
my dad didn't smoke. He dips, but he didn't smoke. My mom smoked.
Yeah,
So we had the Marlboro Miles. Yeah.
dude, you would show up to our house on a boxing match. We were a boxing family, you know?
Boxing came on cable. We didn't have cable.
Dude, you would show up to boxing, like to any kind of, you know,
Oh, like to the match?
no, to our house.
Oh.
And that house, dude, was just a cloud of smoke,
Yeah,
bro. But
yeah.
it was just marbles.
Hey,
bro.
Ben, I want
you
to
move a
I want to.
picture.
Oh, my bad. I want to clarify. Is it boxing because the cousins were fighting, or was it the?
Yeah.
That's another.
That's
Don't even
both.
get me started, dude. They used to put us up against each other. They like my generation.
You were the prelims.
All our dads boxed.
I knew it.
So we did too. All of us cousins. So I've been stabbed by cousins.
Yeah.
I've been like, dude,
Yeah.
we can go into some cousin fighting
Absolutely,
stories.
man.
That's for another episode.
Yeah.
We need to do that for sure.
I've been told I need to have a whole podcast with my cousins because there is some unfinished business. Dude, there's been some broken noses. I had a cut across my top of my eye from a boxing episode with one of my cousins. He opened me up like Sugar Ray Leonard, bro. And I'm like, man, I tell you what. But our dads all boxed, you know, like every one of them was a Golden Glove champ. My dad was a Westpac Tour champ for the Navy. U.S.
Dude, that's badass.
U.S. Olympiad.
Oh wow.
Uh,
My dad will just shoot you.
Yeah, mine too.
I have one uncle
Oh.
that went pro for 4 fights. He had a long amateur fight with 4 pro fights. And to this day, he looks like he's still got 10 rounds in him. He's like 85 years old. This dude is like my dream. Like whatever you're drinking, I'm drinking, you know?
Lone Star Light.
By the way, I don't know if you can tell, but we are looking for sponsors. But
Nothing says desperate like that.
I don't know if you can tell, but this is kind of like something we like.
Yeah.
It isn't
Yeah.
something that we are sponsored or this and that. We are not sponsored by Lone Star, but these podcasts definitely are powered by freaking
Yeah.
Lone Star.
Yeah.
Pre and post.
Do you
Yeah,
guys,
man.
Do you guys remember your first beer?
With
You know,
Dad-
I just
with
think
on
it's-
the
Dad,
river, on the river.
with Dad, bro. Yeah.
I just think it's funny how small that can looks in your big ass hand.
we'll talk about something else.
Look at
All right, think about this.
Story of my life.
This story time. Can you remember your first beer with Pops?
my first beer with Pops.
Yeah.
Dude, it came in the form of a bottle.
Okay.
Like I don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure it probably came in the form of a bottle,
Like a whiskey bottle?
like a
or?
baby bottle.
Oh,
no, I'm
God
joking.
damn.
I'm joking. I'm just joking.
This dude's got Mountain Dew mouth.
No.
Holy
That's some Oklahoma stuff, right
Yeah,
there.
no, I'm just joking about that. But
That's
yeah,
like-
man. So
God.
back in the day, I remember raking hay with my dad. He'd be baling hay and I'd be raking hay. I think I was 9 or 10 years old, and it'd be hot as hell, and I'm just out there. I'd drink whatever water I got, and Dad didn't bring water. He brought a cooler with
There was
Keystone Light, you know?
Never
Never water.
any drinks for kids in any ice chest growing up. There wasn't no
Mm-mm.
Capri Suns or High Seas
No.
or bottled water. What the
Yeah.
fuck was that?
Dude, I had a summer of beer drinking and raking and hauling
Yeah.
and cutting hay when I was 10 years old, just out there all day on the
So
tractor.
That's how my dad was.
But not excessive. That might sound horrible. So I gotta say, like, it wasn't excessive amount or nothing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you're out there with your dad, you're working your ass off, and he's like, dude, you're a man now. You know, you
Yeah,
might be 10
yeah,
years
yeah,
old,
yeah,
but you're
yeah.
doing man shit. Have a cold beer.
So that's my dad was kind of like that. Like if we was doing the right thing, right, he would buy me beer,
Mhm.
right. So like if me and a bunch of the guys, if me, Eddie, Joe, Dusty, if we was all out cutting wood, getting ready for the winter,
Cutting wood, we're drinking brandy.
Yeah, so we'd be out. No, we're cutting fallen trees. Not
Oh, okay.
Splitting it.
Okay.
So we'd be falling trees. I'd call my dad, be like, "Hey, dude, I need like 2 cases to get through this day." He'd be like, "All right, cool." And my dad would show up, and then but he would stick around because we're out there falling trees, shit like that, and he would sit with us and talk shit the whole time while we were sitting there drinking beer. Right? My dad was super cool like that because we weren't doing it and then going and getting in trouble.
No, he knew where you were.
We were falling trees.
Yep.
We'd fall all the trees. And
Which
everything.
that sounds crazy. People that don't know listening, like, oh, you're gonna let them drink beer while they out there with chainsaws and cutting trees down.
Absolutely.
I get it.
We
I'm
were
with
a
you.
different type of children.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's
We were a different type of kid. So then after that, it was we're going 50 yards this way, and we're gonna go sit down and fish all night and finish the rest of these cold beers. And that's the type of shit we did. And my dad would sit there with us and do it. You know what I mean?
You remember what kind of beer it was?
So my dad originally drank Natty Light for a little bit.
Okay.
And then he changed to Milwaukee's Beast.
So what about you?
my dad. So it was either Busch Light or Milwaukee, or not Busch Light. It was Busch Light or back, man, when I was a little kid, it was Busch Light. And then when Keystone Light come out, he been loyal.
Yeah,
He's still locked in on the Keystone.
Yeah.
For
But I
me,
will say-
it was Milwaukee's best.
Milwaukee's best. But my
Cheap
first
fucking beer,
yeah.
bro.
But my
Oh,
first
never mind.
beer with my dad was a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, PBR.
Oh no.
Hence the reason I have the Pabst Blue Ribbon logo tattooed to the inside of my arm, right? And then from then,
Should have kept that to yourself.
No.
No, I'm joking.
oh, okay, speed bug.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
I took pictures of you in shorts. Fuck around.
That's true. I got a tan.
No, you never.
I do.
It's illegal in fucking 52 states
If I showed you my thigh, my calf, you'd be like, wow.
And Canada.
and Canada. No, but hunting with dad, growing up hunting with dad, and running with dad, and everything. You know, I'm kind of with you. I kind of took it for granted a little bit, but then I became a dad, and then I started hunting with my father-in-law, and then my dad come down, and he was hunting with me and stuff like that. Now I'm like, fuck, I wish I could have all that time back, or I wish my dad was closer. I would give nothing more.
I
than
think
to hunt
we're
with pops.
I think we're all with that, you know, like wish dad was
Like,
here,
I love
dad
my
was
son.
closer. So that not only just dad, I want me, my dad, my son, and now my grandson.
Yeah.
I want one trip with that.
It's gonna happen.
And I'm gonna try to document every second of it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Well,
And
that's
when
like
it does, it's
my
gonna be
dad's-
epic. Maybe not epic for everybody,
Right.
but it'll be epic for me. And that's all that I give a shit about.
So my dad's dream is he wants to kill an elk. He wants to kill an elk in a mountain somewhere. And I think when I get back, we've talked about, my plans when I get back is I'm going to go shoot an elk guy, or I'm going to go do something. I think when I get back, I think me and Colt and Jerry and my dad are going to get a hold of Glenn. And I think we're going to go shoot an elk in the mountains.
That'll be
And
cool.
I'm going to make sure that fucking happens, because that's a dream of mine too.
And yet everybody have to have a hand in quartering that up and hauling it out.
Absolutely. 3 generations.
I love that, and I hope y'all are able to do that. Like I hope y'all are. But I love going out local.
My
with,
cameraman got to be there.
I'm
I'm
hey,
all in.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, me and Ben will get 2 different angles each shot.
So we kind of got
Well,
tied into the
Pause.
yeah.
Good.
We
We're
we,
good.
This guy.
we kind of got tied into the nostalgia of our own experiences. But let's walk somebody through before we wrap this up. Let's walk somebody through some of the things that you do to prep and take pops out. Just the simple things.
So I'm getting ready to basically do this, and there's things I look at, man. Number one thing I look at is location and weather. That's what I have to look at, because anytime you take a kid out, and anytime you go out, you need to look at weather and any type of limitations that there might be. And when I say limitations, like you said, are they disabled? How good a shape are they in? How hot is it? How cold is it? Is there going to be rain? Whatever those environmental factors are. And then whatever those factors are, build your trip around those factors.
Yeah.
And once you do that, everything else falls into place. Everything is environmental driven.
So
Okay.
I agree to that. So back when me and Bill used to hunt a lot together, right? That's before Bill started having a lot of the serious medical issues. So like that black buck antelope, we spot and stalked that antelope. We low crawled through a gully or through a creek bed to close the distance on that animal and pull the trigger, right? Then now when I hunt with Bill, it's all right, I'm gonna pull you up within, 5 to 10 yards of the stand. I'm gonna get you in it, get you settled in, bring you your gun. You can load the damn thing, but I'm gonna get you your gun, get you everything ready. Look, feeder goes off at this time. If they show up, they show up. They don't. Just holler at me. Make sure your phone's charged. He doesn't have to do nothing but get in the truck.
I still like to leave a little bit out there, just that little bit of adventure, excitement, that little bit of,
Yeah,
like-
I try to make sure that he's as comfortable as possible because he doesn't.
Well, it depends on the person.
right.
Every individual is going to be different.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. If it was my dad, I'd be like, I'm parking 5,000 yards away from this stand. Fucking walk. There's no heater in the stand. Matter of fact, I put my dad and Jimbo in a stand together. Right? Me and Colt hunted a stand, and my dad and Jimbo sat in a stand, and I told him, and it was cold, boy, cold. I said, there's a heater in there for you sissies if you need it. Cool. I didn't leave him no propane.
Oh.
On purpose.
Well, they learn to cuddle. They learn to
So-
cuddle.
Let me ask you guys this: is when you're taking them out, like if you were taking your kid out, you're
I'm
packing,
prepping the same way.
you're packing,
Prepping damn near the same
you're
way.
making sure they're wrapped in the right weather,
Yeah.
all
So-
that stuff, and you're packing enough snacks, you're packing enough this. Are you guys doing that for them as well now?
For our sons,
For dad, like you're packing everything, aren't you? You're packing
So,
like
Yes.
everything for the
Yeah,
trip.
I pack.
Dad's gonna have his essentials that
Yeah.
he takes with him all the time.
When I take Bill
But
out.
really, you're gonna make sure he doesn't forget nothing,
Yeah.
right?
When I take Bill hunting, there's a checklist before I leave the house. I'll call him. You got this, you got this, you got this, you got
Okay.
this. And when we get there, I'll be like, all right, how many bottles of water you got?
Okay.
How much this, how much that? I kind of prep and pack my kids the same way I prep and pack Bill
Okay.
or my dad.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a bottle of water? I don't even know water. Shut up and drink water. Dude,
Yeah.
this is Texas, not
Yeah.
fucking Indiana.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Same thing with Bill. Make sure you got your pokey bait. Make sure you got everything you need to go out there and sit.
Heater buddy if it's
Yeah,
cold.
and I'm
all
telling
that
you,
stuff. You're making it as super as
And you know
comfortable
what?
as you can.
And you know what? There's been times I've put him in a stand and he's had 15, 20 deer in front of him and he just takes pictures of them.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
But
perfect.
you know what? I'm here. I'm in the woods. I'm with you.
That's
and
what he
Cole.
wants to do.
Absolutely.
My dad don't. He just fishes now. He doesn't hunt anymore. He used to be a killer machine. He feeds deer in his front yard now. And when I say in his front, it's not like the in town deer. He
No.
lives in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I bring him beaver nuggets from Bucky's to
He
feed his
lo-
deer.
them-
They
him-
love the
them
beaver
deer
nuggets.
love them beaver nuggets. over there.
But I guess with my dad, we communicate a little bit ahead of time. He tells me what he's got. He tells me his intent, like what he wants to do, kind of like what he wants, and then I will kind of plan everything around that. And then when we get there, we just kind of bounce everything off each other because still to this day, everything that I know that that's the man that taught me what I know, and I'm not gonna try to outsmart him.
I love that. I
so-
love that. Here's the thing. When it's all said and done, you're gonna try to do everything you can, but is it not true to this day? Everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
And
we can
the punched in
prepare-
the mouth part, that's what I do with my son now, though, is because I do it one way with my dad, but with my son, I let that punch happen in the mouth.
If you fail,
I let it
it's
happen.
It's on you. Like I'm gonna do
But-
everything I need to do to make sure you're successful. But if you mess it up, or you forget something, that's on you. I do the same thing in football, the same thing in baseball. If we show up to football and you ain't got your cleats, whose problem is that?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Depending on how big that punch is, I ain't gonna let him get punched by Mike, but I'll let him
Right,
get punched by.
Right, but I forgot
Yeah,
my flashlight.
what I'm
Don't
saying.
use your cell phone. Or
But- I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but that's just it. We we can plan as much as we want, but sometimes things happen out there, and you're just winging it. But you know what's beautiful about it is Dad taught you how to adapt. Dad taught you how to.
That's it right there.
Dad taught you how to do that, and guess what?
I've seen my dad look
Sometimes
at
you
me.
lean on them and be like, "Well, what do we got, man?" They come up with an idea that you hadn't even thought of. That's gonna get you through that hunt, or it's gonna get you through that fishing trip. And don't rule out, letting them take a little, initiative, or like, hey, what do you think? You know what I mean?
What's crazy? I'm 44 years old, and I've seen I've seen my dad look at me the way I look at my son when my son does something that I'm like, how's he gonna get out of that pickle? And I still see my dad look at me like that, and I'm like, Dad, I'm 44. Tell me something, man.
Hey, Jimmy, real quick. He's always been looking at you like that. You just started noticing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Man, we hope you guys have kind of picked up a little bit of we felt a little nostalgia, and like we remember what it was going hunting with Dad and how he did everything for us. But now we're kind of doing everything for our kids.
We're in a weird stage of like our kids are old enough to start planning things.
But now we want to take Dad out, and we're almost trying to be protective of them too, and prepare for them. And how many of you guys are in this stage too, and you can relate to this? It was a very unique situation for us to talk about on a podcast.
And Dad, we're going to talk about this weekend.
But
so I love you, man. I love you.
What we don't want to do is say we didn't want to cover something that we felt like, oh, this is my expertise and this is what I know. First off,
no,
we don't know everything about we don't know shit. We don't know anything about anything.
We know a little about a lot.
We'll say it. We're an inch wide and a mile deep.
But what we wanted to do was talk about something that maybe you are 100%.
We're an inch deep and a mile wide.
Oh, Gabby!
Gabby. So Gabby called. Ben's daughter. She's in Air Force training right now. She's in tech school right now, so she don't get to call every day. So when she calls, family. We've said it a million times. Family first.
And it 100%. If Anna was to call me right now,
anybody,
we're out the door. Like, I'm sorry, love y'all, but.
Love Gabby more.
Yeah, we love Gabby more. And, that right there, if Dad calls, you pick up the phone. Mom calls, you pick up the phone. Pick up the damn phone, right? But God, hunting with Dad is definitely the best.
Hunting and fishing with Dad, man. There's nothing better. I love doing it with my kid and my dad. And when I can get the three of us together to do it, there's nothing that, there's literally nothing more joyous than your dad, you and your son out fishing.
Absolutely.
For me, that's me.
Absolutely.
That's it. But I think we're probably going to wrap this one up.
We're going to wrap this one up.
Let us know. What's your first memory of hunting and fishing with Dad? What's your best memory, or maybe your worst? I don't know. Every case is different.
Or what do you do with Dad now? Are you taking Dad out, or is Dad still taking you out? How is it working now that you're in the hot seat? You're a little older, Dad's a little older. What are you doing to prep with Dad and prep with your kids?
Let us know in the comments. But we love you. This has been the Cast and Blast podcast, where it's real
fishing,
real hunting,
real talk.
That's what it is.